All right, so I had forgotten to set it up to be recorded, so now I'm going to go back to the shared screen. This is the entity that I created to share this information with people. The website is all set up. This is where you guys came from, and there's a lot of information on the website. It's $9.95 a month. If if you cancel it in 7 days, then you don't owe the $9.95. So it's just basically set up so that I have enough money to keep the website open. So this one here is about trusts. This one is basically what I'm going to be showing you guys today is how to go from the estate to the foreign grantor trust. So the first thing that we'll talk about here is the Weiss Concise Trustee Handbook. I kind of fought this for a while just because I don't like reading. And then a friend of mine, read this and he was like, "You need to like read this. You just need to do it." And so he said he read it like a dozen times. I'm not good at reading, so I downloaded the YouTube audiobook and then I listened to it. And there is so much information in here that it'll just blow your mind once you start absorbing it. So it was written. I'm not really quite sure exactly when it was written, but this was redone in 2006. And so the main thing here that I want to stress is number one, that you want a trust that's written in the common law, um, not a statutory state law. Common law is basically it's the unwritten law that we use court cases and rulings from court cases, which establishes the law that we want to go by. And many countries use this common law. And so as you can see here, creating a trust, the act of a party, by the act of law. Okay. So we're going this direction, which is the act of the party. So then there's implied and express. Basically, a Social Security trust is an implied trust, and the express trust is either oral or written. So the oral express trust is that, when you hear people going into court and expressing the trust, that's what you would consider an oral version of the trust. And then the written stuff is what I have on the website that you can download and alter. That trust is basically literally taken from this book and created. So express trust under the common law, the you will get a lot of this, this information when you read the book. But this is just an example of a few pages of it here. And says here the most adequate definition of an express trust is understood from the earlier case law that has been subsequently summed up and restated into a clear, concise definition by Alfred Chandler, D. Chandler, Esquire. So Esquire is another word for executor. Okay. So once you become the executor of your estate, your Social Security estate, then you become an Esquire. Now, whether you want to use that or not, that's up to you. Um, so basically, this came from the Massachusetts Business Trust. So the first big instrument that they used in commerce was the Massachusetts Business Trust, and they used it to grab land or titles in Massachusetts. So then we go on to the next page. It talks about express trust, put the legal estate entirely in one or more persons, while others have beneficial interests in the same, but are neither partners nor agents. It's a simple, adequate, common law right any person or group or persons may exercise. And then there's another part down here that's very important here. and that is trust is not merely property interest held by one for the benefit of another, but rather the private contract for the holding of divisible proper interest accepted by one offer of another. So we're talking about contract here, contract law. Okay, the reason why this is important, okay, is because in the Constitution, Article 1, Section 10 says, let no state interfere with an individual's right to common law contract. Okay, so a statutory trust is not a contract. It is written under the state statutes or the legal definition. Okay, this is written under the law. Okay, and it is written under the law of the Constitution, Article 1, Section 10, which is the common law right to contract. And why that's important is that that's why states can't pierce a common law trust, is because in order to do that, they would have to pierce Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution. Okay. So a few of the things here that kind of like compare the two between an express trust and a corporation. Corporations usually have to be renewed every year. An express trust is generally 20 to 25 year. Mine, the one that I have on the website, is 99. The corporation is governed by a statute where express trust is governed under equity. Okay. So these are some of the points here. And it goes through, there's about 3 pages of comparisons between express trust and a corporation. Again, not pierceable by courts. Corporations have state jurisdiction. Corporations have to pay taxes. Trusts don't pay taxes. So I encourage you to really read through this, okay? Commerce. So one of the things that we're really trying to do here, the thing that we're trying to do in this movement, is we're trying to pull ourselves out of jurisdiction. We're trying to get ourselves from being a 14th Amendment citizen and being a state national, and, you know, to stop being under the thumb of the man, if you will, okay? But once you do that, once you pull yourself out of jurisdiction and you put your social security number in an estate, then what are you going to do? Okay, how are you going to get a bank account? How are you going to get insurance? How are you going to do anything? Okay, so that's where the trust comes in. Weiss specifically talks about in this book, you know, when you read it, that this is a tool to operate in commerce. Some of the other people talk about it as in it's a transmitting utility. In other words, it's how you go from taking private ownership to the public. Okay. And that's what they call commerce. Right. So this is a part here that goes through in understanding commerce and what commerce is and so on. It's basically being in the public sector, right? And being under the jurisdiction of maritime courts, but you're using a transmitting utility that isn't subject to the jurisdiction of a maritime court. So you can operate in maritime, but you're not under their jurisdiction. In a express trust, you know, is far, and that's what's considered commerce, is doing business. So, you know, like I said, getting bank accounts and so on and so forth. Here it says specifically in this, if you get a non-interest bearing checking account, you will not have to sign any contracts. Okay, so it specifically says in here that you are to start using your 98 EIN and the trust to do commerce, and you're supposed to delete all contracts that you have with credit card companies, bank accounts, insurance companies, everything. You want to get rid of every single contract that you have out there. You know, resend all your driver's licenses and all that stuff. So that's, you know, that's all in this handbook here. So then the next thing is, once you create the trust, right, it's an express trust. And if you do it under a foreign jurisdiction, then it's a foreign express trust. Okay, but you still haven't expressed what it is and what you're doing to the government. Okay, now some people don't go this far, but it's not a foreign grantor trust unless you do this. And this is about expressing grant. So one of the ways that you do this is with an 8806. So you basically, you know, over here, you would put social security number or your estate, your estate EIN, if you've done that far or whatever. So you put that as in that is the entity that it's going from. And then part two, you would put the foreign grantor trust in here. So basically what you're setting the IRS up here for is liquidation. Okay. So everybody's telling you that because you have whatever, $1 billion in a trust somewhere, that what this is setting the IRS up so that you can start to liquidate and move that stuff, move those credits from in the private from one entity to the other. So this is just one of the steps of the process. This is not going to get you your money, okay? So then the 3528 is how you express the trust, okay? So this is very lengthy and you have to like make copies of stuff, but it's very important. What I'm going to say next is very important. You don't ever share the situs of your trust with anybody, okay? So when you do this with the IRS, you're going to send them the first page and the signature page. You don't send anything in the middle. And then you're going to send a document that's called the certification of trust, which I'll show you that in a little bit. And then also the last thing that you're going to send them is the appointment of trustee so that they know who the trustee is. So all those things will be sent when you send this in, this 3528. Okay. Now, even though you're going to let the IRS know that this is what you're doing, you're still not paying taxes on the trust. It's only when you take money or assets out of the trust and put it in your personal name that you have to pay taxes on that. But if you're putting your social security number in a state, then you don't have to pay taxes on that anymore. Okay. So this whole thing is all set up so you don't have to pay taxes. So this is how you get your 9A EIN. This is the SS4. So you don't send this in, okay? Because technically you're telling them that you don't have an address in America, okay? So there's a lot of information out there about zip codes and stuff like that, but that's what pulls you in the jurisdiction. So you don't want to use an address. Here's an example on the right. This I got from Pat Devine stuff. Okay, and this kind of gives you an idea how to fill this out. You're only filling this out so when you call them on the phone that you don't talk stupid. Okay, so you fill this thing out, kind of like it's done over here, and then you call them on the phone and then you go through it and you just make sure when they ask you, you say, no, I don't have an address in the United States. And they will give you your 98 EAN over the phone. And then you just write it in up here, whatever number they give you, you write it in on the top. Okay. And then you hold on to that. And that 98 EIN is what you use to operate in commerce with your foreign grantor trust. Okay. Then this is another step that I went to, okay, is that I put UCCs on my foreign grantor trust. So this is a non-UCC filing, and this is a UCC filing. Now I'm from Wisconsin, so all my stuff is done in Wisconsin. It doesn't matter what state you do this in, okay, but how to do these is on the website, okay? So this is the UCC filing, the one on the left, and this is the non-UCC, the one on the right. So basically the difference between the two is the UCC filing is in the public. So this is letting the public know that you have a security interest on the foreign grantor trust. Okay, and you do this with a contract. You have to, and I'm going to show you this in a minute, but you got to have a contract on this, okay, so that you can do this, right? And create bonds and whatever you're going to do to hold the foreign grantor trust so that you're a secured party creditor. And then this is the non-UCC, okay? This is a private financing statement. And then when you do the private financing statement, this is all on the website. So it shows you the stamp and everything and explains all this stuff to you. But basically what this one is you are going and you're putting in a lien on your labor. This is the civilly dead labor wagering organization, which is your name in the state that you were born in. Okay. So all this stuff is on the website. Again, you can read about it there, but this is what I've done is that I've done this stuff so that I personally can't be liable for any of this stuff. This is how they get you to pay taxes, in case you're wondering, okay, is that because you have a contract with the SSA and the state that you live in and so on your labor, okay, they can't tax your labor, they tax the money that you receive from your labor. So that's your Federal Reserve notes. So this here pulls you out of that jurisdiction, so you're not liable for that and you're not liable for the taxes. Here's some copies of the contracts, okay? Independent contractor agreement is an agreement between the trust and an individual. So, you want to have a contract between you and your foreign grantor trust so that when it pays a bill for you, it's not considered commingling, okay? Because there's a contract, right? And so these contracts are in the back of the Weiss trustee handbook, all right? This is a universal contract. This is what you would do in commerce. So let's say that the foreign grantor trust wanted to hire an attorney for a specific reason. This is what the trust would do to hire an organization in commerce to provide a service, or like an accountant services or something like that. So, or let's just say that your foreign grantor trust owns a vehicle, but you want to use it for Uber. Okay. So if you want to use it for Uber, what you're going to do is you're going to do a contract here that leases the vehicle to you for the purpose of Uber. Okay. And so that's what that is. And these are very important. These contracts here between you and the trust are crucial for you not being roped into jurisdiction. Okay. Um, then this is about expressing the grant. This is what makes it a grantor trust. In the Constitution, it says that your birthright is title, and that you can't have the title on whatever it is that you're doing until you hit 25. That's what a trust is. That's the trust that's set up by the government. Okay. And so what you have to do when you hit the age 25 is you have to express grant. So putting a foreign grantor trust together and registering it with the with the IRS to express grant or expressing your title is letting them know that you are taking over that situation and you are not under their jurisdiction. You do not need, this is the part where you stop being an infant minor, okay? And then you put yourself into equity. So that's what expressing the grant is. I encourage you to read more about this. This is a big thing that Pat Devine talked about in all his processes, which is expressing grant, okay? All right, here's your birthright. You're born with title. It's held till you're 25 years old, and then you have to claim your title. I have another video and some other stuff that I'm doing for you guys. It's about getting an allodial title on your body. That's what this is talking about. Okay. Once you have a allodial title on your body, then there is no longer is there a corporate fiction, and no longer are you a can you be pulled into a jurisdiction. So this is very important. This is what a trust certification looks like. It is on the website, and you just basically fill in these yellow areas, okay, after you put your trust together. And this is like the one of the things that you use, okay, to let bank accounts and banks and IRS and whoever know, what's going on with your trust, okay? So you show people the certification of trust, you don't show them the trust. Okay, so that's that, and that's on the website for you. So here's the templates, the stuff I just went over for you. The 8806, the 20 it's supposed to be 3520A, certification of trust, authorization of trustee, SS4, UCC1, and non-UCC, and then of course the contract. So that kind of goes through the PowerPoint. And so let me stop this share. So then I wanted to show you guys some other stuff. These are things that I did for a court case. And so this is just stuff that you'll be able to see how I did it. So this here is this is my 9/8 EIN. They will send you something in the mail, but if you don't tell them you have an address, this came from when I did the 3520A, then they sent me this in the mail. Then this is the 8806, like I was telling you, the Kent Nicholas Stark estate. So that's me putting my social security number in a state, and I got an estate EIN. And then I basically sent that over to the 9/8 EIN. Okay, and then so this is the 56. So these are, I mean, if you want to write down this stuff so you know what the names of these forms are, go ahead and do it. Okay, so that was the SS4. This is the 8806. And I'll try and go slow here so you can write it down. This is the 56. Okay. This is the 56F. 3520A. And then this is long. The W8BEN. 2848. $88.32. And then here's a copy of my certification of trust. And this is the pour over will. All this stuff is on the website. This is a different certification of trust. So that was that stuff. This here is this is my estate EIN. So this is where I put my social security number in estate because I'm of the legal lawful age after over the age of 25. So I don't need a trust to take care of me anymore. I want to liquidate it. So I put it in estate. Okay, so then there's the 8806 that puts the trust, which was my social security number, to the estate. Okay. Okay. 48. Same information as the other one. And then this one here, this is my individual banker EIN, and I'm going to do another class about how to do the individual banker stuff, but those forms are on the website so that you can see and read about this. So I encourage you to do that. And then this is the non-UCC. And then whenever you do this stuff and you mail this stuff in, this is for the registered mail. Okay, make copies of it and add it to this. So whenever you're sending it, so that this is proof that you served it. Okay, this is proof that this is a valid number. So this contract number would be 551-376-324 US. So that's how I do it. I have probably 15 UCCs on the record for different things. This one here is this is just the all caps name, and then the security agreement here, and then that's an addendum with another security agreement, and then this here, Minnesota is one of the states that allow you to do this. I got rights to my all caps name, and so then I keep that up with the state of Minnesota, and that way, if anybody else tries to copyright it, I have, the rights to it or whatever. So that shows that, a few things here that'll kind of give you, a direction to go. Now I'd like to open it up for questions. Anybody that has any questions about anything, feel free to ask.
Yes, I have a question. Can I use Vietnam as a country? for the foreign credit trust? Oh no.
Can you what?
Can I use Vietnam as a,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean,
Oh,
you can use any country
oh.
for a foreign trust.
Mm.
What you want to check with is in Vietnam if they, you know, if it's one of the countries that will protect you, right?
Oh,
Okay,
oh,
because
okay.
the point of the foreign grantor trust is that you want to be protected. Okay, and you want to
Oh,
be, like your assets and stuff. So like it in America, if you go buy a car and then you
okay.
take that car and you register it with the government and you get license plates, they own 1/3 of that vehicle.
Oh,
Okay. So what the
okay.
trust will allow you to do is you can take an MCO, which is the manufactured certificate of origin, and you can
Oh,
take that MCO and put it right in your trust, and then you can get a DOT license plate for the trust and you can drive on it. And then you're not subject to the jurisdiction of a state, county, or the US government.
wow.
So that's just an example of what you can do with it, but you want to make sure that in your country
Mm-hmm.
or wherever you live or wherever you reside, if that's
Okay,
something that that you need. Now, I don't know the laws of Vietnam, so I can't really speak to that, but
okay.
that's something you want to research, okay?
Got it. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
All right, so anybody else have any questions?
Ken, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
How are you doing?
Good.
Thank you for the foreign grantor. Uh, I've been going through it last night and this morning, just reading through it, making sure I understood some things. And uh, when it's asking for the country, we're not using we're not using the United States. We're using like Taiwan or Canada or Morocco or somewhere like this, somewhere that's not a part of the treaty, right?
Yeah, so what you want to do is you want to Google what countries are conducive with, your rights as in a foreign trust. Okay, so there's about five. Well, actually, they'll give you about 10, but the first five are the important ones. So the Bahamas, the Caymans, do not use Mexico. Okay, because Mexico has an agreement with the United States. If you have a trust there, they will open it right up for the government. Okay.
Mm,
Um, so another one is this island of Cyprus. And then another one is now these countries aren't going to change this because there's too many billionaires out there with trusts in these countries. Okay, and they
ah,
don't want to lose that money. So they're not going to change this. So you're safe. Okay. The other one
okay,
is Switzerland. Now, Switzerland, as you know, with Swiss bank accounts and stuff like that, this is never going to change. As long as you don't break the law in Switzerland, okay? It's got to be a law that they have there in Switzerland. As long as you don't break any laws between America and Switzerland, they'll never open it up. Now, the Bahamas, it's close. So if I'm going to open an account in the Bahamas, then it's close to us. So that's why I chose the Bahamas. But any of those five countries are fine, but it's just
okay,
so that you can have a jurisdiction that will protect you.
okay. And then there was a name, Abdul Yao something that was
Yeah,
named as the
Yosef.
settler. Yeah, he's named as the settler of the
Yeah, so
trust.
I may have missed that. So what I did to find this is I went through online and I downloaded every single foreign trust I could find. And
Okay,
and I kind of went through them, and the ones that I found the most of are the Moors trusts. Okay,
right.
and they're public, right? They're out there because a lot of these guys and gals registered their Moors trust in California. So what you want to do is you just want to go through that, and anything that is personal, that isn't personal to you, you need to change.
Right.
Yeah.
I was doing that.
But it's a very strong trust. That's why I chose it. Because the
Okay.
language in it is, it's talking about, it's talking about the belief system. What you need to understand about these trusts is that the original trust was from God.
Right.
Okay. And so what you're trying to do is you're trying to create a nominal trust that is within that original jurisdiction of God. Okay. And that's why you're using. And so what I liked about that trust that I put on the website was that it already had all that language in there. You just have to kind of change it so that it applies to you.
Right. I was seeing some of the Masonic, some of the Buddhism language.
Yep.
So I was seeing some of that, and so I understood that. I was just mainly concerned about, the names that I want to completely change them, but did they need to stay because of some type of reference
No,
to
you want to change
authority or jurisdiction?
all names and
Okay.
jurisdictions and addresses and anything that I missed in there. I try and remember everything, but like I forget some stuff sometimes, but
No, it's
yeah,
great. It's great.
it's like 20.
Uh,
Every other one I found out there was only 4 or 5 pages, and I just didn't feel like 4 or 5 pages could possibly do it. So
right.
it was one of the only ones I found long enough that I felt like it had the right information. And the thing I liked about that one too is it had all of the extra stuff with it. It had the certification, and it had, all
Right.
the other extra things so you didn't have to go looking for those other things. It had everything in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, is it if I put Living Express Trust? Is that contradictory, or is that
Well, a living trust is usually a revocable, but you don't want this to be, you want this to be irrevocable, because that's
okay?
what protects you. So a revocable trust, the US government sees as an alter ego. And an
Okay.
irrevocable trust, the US government sees as a separate entity, because you can't change it.
Okay. So the Express Trust is the one we should get the 98 number for,
Yes.
and
And then the
the
living
Living
trust.
Trust,
Yep.
we just get a
So I have a
regular
living
EIN.
trust that is revocable, that I use for stuffing, in America. And then I have the foreign trust, which is irrevocable. So my living trust is the beneficiary of the foreign trust.
Ah.
So when I take
So is the
so when
foreign
I take
trust the
stuff
umbrella
out,
of everything?
what's that?
Is the foreign trust the umbrella of everything,
Yeah.
or is your living trust the umbrella?
No, the living trust is just it's a pass through.
Okay. Okay. I understand that.
So that's how I did it. Now, not everybody does this stuff the same way, but so, for me, the grantor of my foreign trust is the Social Security account and the estate. Okay. And then I'm the trustee, but I personally am not the trustee. My individual banker is the trustee of the foreign trust. Okay. And that is attached to my residence here in America. And then the beneficiary, which they can never know. There's no version of this where they'll find out who the beneficiaries are. They can't. And my beneficiary is the living trust. Then the living trust, I'm the trustee of that as well. And my daughter and my grandson are the beneficiaries.
Right. So, okay, I'm gonna go on the website later today and find out about the estate and the private bank.
Yeah,
But I
so it's
don't want to.
called a TDA, It's called the TDA. It's a
TDA
document, it's
6.
probably like 20 pages. Um, there was another guy in the chat that posted another version of that from the Moors, but it's the same information. You know,
Okay.
Pat Devine, um, which is this old white dude from Iowa, did this crap like 15, 20 years ago. And then
Mm,
he he was one of the only people that ever successfully gained control of his trust. And everybody else has been kind of copying what Pat did. And so most of the stuff comes from him. So that TDA thing on the website is from Pat Devine. The non-UCC one is from Pat Devine. So that allodial title on your body thing is from Pat Devine. So, he just, I don't know what the guy's deal was, but he figured all this crap out. And then, so then everybody else kind of like, shot out from that. Once you get like once you get all the stuff on the website from like, where you're putting stuff on the record or whatever from my first 3 big videos for the seminar, this is the next thing that you have to do is you have to get your trust set up. You have to get your trust right. And then once you get
okay.
your trust right, then you go into getting a allodial title on your body, and then you start to create remedy and you start to liquidate. Okay. Once you
Okay.
do that and you get your foreign bank or your private bank set up, that's how you get access is through the private bank. Okay. And I'm going to do another class on the private bank stuff, but
Okay.
that's all in there. That's all on the website. And what I'm trying to do, the biggest thing I'm trying to do is I'm not trying to take people's money for documents and stuff like that. I'm trying to teach. I want you guys to be able to go stand on your own 2 feet in court and talk smart. And that there's more power in that than any document that you'll ever do. And so that's what I'm trying to do. All the information that I put out, I want you guys to study. I want you to read it over and over and over and over again. And so you know it like the back of your hand. So, also, if there's anything else you need, if there's, you're going through stuff and, you have some requests or anything like that, just let me know. But I try and put classes out as soon as I get a bunch of people asking stuff. So that's what this was all about.
Well, hey, I appreciate it, man. It was great information.
Okay. All right. So, if anybody else have any questions? All right. Well, I'll end it. I did record this, so I'll be putting this on the website for anybody that didn't get a chance to see it. And I thank you all for coming and have a wonderful day.